What I've got for you today is a... how do I call this? I think it's an infamous series of StarCraft 2. I've seen quite a few people talking about this one. From what I've heard, it is going to be an absolute banger if you are a fan of Protoss cheese. So spotting right here in game number 1 on a map called Ghost River. Playing with the blue Terran SCVs, we have the man who, according to Aligilek, is the highest ranked Terran player in the world. And of course, he goes by the name of Clem. His opponent, somebody I have never featured before. That's a Forge. That's a Forge going down right here. Playing with, what is this, yellow, orange? With the Protoss pieces, we have none other than boanaan. Boanaan is actually a very good player. As we'll be making this video, I just had a quick little look at the Grandmaster League ladder. He is currently the rank 69 in Grandmaster League, which is pretty nice. Now, the problem for him is that Clem is currently the number 1. And generally speaking, the skill difference between the number 69 and the number 1, very substantial. But apparently this is one of the most cheesy series that has ever been played at a high level, at least this year. So it's a cannon rush against Clem. Photon cannon coming up, gateway over here to reduce the surface area. Right now only a single SCV can attack that photon cannon at a time. I haven't seen a Terran get cannon rushed in a very long while. Usually it's a bad idea because, well, if push comes to shove, Terran structures can fly, so you can just leave. Oh my god, he's actually going for another one. He did another one. That's a cheeky move over there too. I think that may be a full wall off at the very least. It's a little hard to say. Probe ultimately ends up going down. You can glitch the probe to go through it. We have a factory coming up here. Jimmy trying his very best to shut all of this down. If that photon cannon inside of the main base finishes, I think Clem is in a lot of trouble. He's already in a lot of trouble, don't get me wrong. But another photon cannon here finishing up would be a disaster. I think he can maybe kill it in the end? No, probably not. Nope. What he really needs is a cyclone or two. So this one is now within range of the, well, the leftmost mineral fields. I love this sort of stuff so much. Yeah. Is this game? Maybe? Honestly, hard to say. I don't want to count Clem out until, you know, he's out. But this is certainly a lot of damage already. At this point, Protoss is ahead economically. Is he going to, well, expand behind this? Is he going to... No, of course he's not. Even playing a macro game against Clem when you're 5 workers ahead or so, it's still going to be a bit of a disaster. Mules are pretty good, and all the zealots, you know what? They're dealing a lot of damage. Good targeting right there by boanaan. 9 additional SCVs fall, and now Clem is all the way back down to the amount of workers he started the game off with. Oh, okay. I think he can stabilize in the end if he gets enough cyclones out. Cyclones obviously can move and shoot at the same time, which is massive. Plus they have a lot of range. Yeah, and I think ultimately Clem can somewhat stabilize. I don't know about boanaan really doubling down right here. Oh my god, he's tripling down. He's not even doubling down anymore. There's 2 additional shield batteries coming up. And now he's also proxied a robo facility. So he did make a cyber core at home. Stalker just now popped out. That allowed him, of course, to make a Stalker. Cyber core just popped out at home, and that now allows him to go into a robo facility. He's going all in after the all in. I think the logical follow-up right here for boanaan would be Immortals and Prisms. Obviously, both of those are expensive, and they take a while to produce. Now he's lost the high ground vision. Okay. Clem, in the meantime, has been rebuilding his workers. He's lost 11 of them, but, well, resources lost-wise, he's actually trading efficiently. Here's the robo. Okay, it's gonna be an Immortal straight up. Immortals, obviously, very good against mechanical units, like, for example, well, Cyclones. Very good against units that have a lot of HP in general. And it happens to be mechanical units. Is this horrible still? I mean, the shield batteries heal so much, right? But they have a finite amount of energy. They will regen it over the course of the minutes that go by here, so There's a tech lab coming up. Okay, so Clem has made the decision here to go into, I think, siege tank production. Siege tank production would be amazing. Problem is, that means that those immortals get to do whatever they like for now. And I say immortals because the second one is about maybe 40% or so of the way done. Quite a few of the Protoss units here are going down, but at the same time, Terran's also losing a lot. That's actually another unit going down right there to the photon cannon. 8 confirmed kills right now on this bad boy. That was the first one that was proxied on this side of the map. Okay, yeah, there's a siege tank coming up, but honestly, if you have like 2 immortals, really? Okay, I thought we were gonna go 2 immortals into a prism, or I thought immortal, prism, immortal. But we're going immortal into immortal into immortal instead. Oh, okay, a little bit of miss micro right there by the Protoss. Could have probably saved one of those immortals, but honestly, this is still a bit of a disaster. Main problem right here for the immortal right now is that SCVs can be pulled. There's a siege tank. Siege tank wants to be within range of here, but currently it does not quite reach that far yet. Yep, he's just making immortals. He's not bothering with a prism. SCVs are gonna have to build another depot here before too long, yeah. Actually, he's okay. No, he's got 3 depots over there in the back. He wants to kill that Cyclone and the siege tank really badly. Instead, he's gonna get more SCVs. Probably won't be too upset about that. Great firepower here, though, coming out of the Protoss. Nexus, by the way, is finishing up on the other side of the map. Boanaan actually expanded behind this. When's the last time you've seen Clem get cannon rushed? I don't even remember. I have seen hundreds of Clem games this year. Literally. I don't think I've seen him get cheesed like this a single time. I think boanaan has this one in the bag. There is no follow-up here that can really surprise the Protoss. As long as he can deny these mineral fields, and he's mining 29 probes himself right now, like he's got so much income compared, like you can do whatever. Twilight Council on the back of this. I would imagine you just go charge here. If you feel like you can, you might want to go blink, but this is now currently a pretty tough game to lose. Immortals may end up getting surrounded though. Yeah, well, in the end, there's just way too much Protoss. And it's boanaan who wins game number 1 over Clem. I'll be honest with you, this is not the scoreboard I expected. I don't think Clem really assumed that this series was going to be particularly hard either. So this was the round of 16 match of last week's ESL Open Cup. It's again a pylon just right next to the Nexus. A Nexus, if you will. So this is one of those round of 16 games, right? And generally speaking, I think most of the top tier players like Clem, they just sort of assume that they cruise to like the round of 8, maybe the round of 4 even. Clem pretty much always is in the grand finals of this weekly tournament, and I don't think he really expected to be tested just yet. It's a forge again. It's a forge again. Back-to-back cannon rush against Clem. Oh my god. Alright. Double gas for Clem, by the way. I think if the man... Oh, he made a wall off. Ah, the depot was lowered right there to get the SCV to the other side a little bit quicker. I think he wants to go into a factory a little faster this time around. That's the only thing that makes sense. This photon cannon right now, though, surrounded by pylons. Probe escapes. Mineral walks it through the SCVs. Oh my god. He's juking it so hard with those probes. Is this good enough, though? Like, this is nice and all. This is nice and all. But does it matter? Okay, well, 2 pylons get cancelled, replaced by a gateway, and the photons now continue. 1 photon cannon, 1 pylon. Bunker coming up. We need to see an immortal, or sorry, an immortal. We need to see a factory here ASAP. We need to start up that Cyclone production minutes earlier than what we had in the previous one. This is the type of series that in the StarCraft community is called a clown fiesta. Yeah. And I think it's a pretty great example as to why. We're kind of rushing a bunker inside of the main base. Is there enough? I mean, this is buying time. Factory in the meantime, behind the gas and the minerals. Mostly finished. I mean, the bunker repair here is actually so good. I'm actually impressed that Clem had, like, the perfect positioning. Look at that micro! Oh, he's popping them inside of the bunker to keep them alive for a little while longer whilst repairing this to the best of his abilities. He knows he's on a timer, so Clem trying to squeeze every single bit of juice out of those SCVs. Pylons and gateways, everything got cancelled 17 times to try and, well, just re-wall and not wall and re-wall again and get the SCVs and probes around. Ultimately, there is now one cheeky little photon cannon within range. However, is this good enough right now? Starport? Yeah. Clem is realizing here that he's got some time. Okay, well, we have 2 more gateways coming up. Cyclone's gonna be able to win that fight. Obviously, the Cyclone can be repaired. Needs to wait for a little bit longer until the lock-on is once again available, but there it is. Okay. Siege tank now, significantly earlier too. What are we gonna use the starport for? Okay, it's gonna be for a Viking. Clem is a little concerned that it's gonna be a prism together with a mortal showing up. That's really the only thing that can be a problem. He doesn't really know exactly what the tech of the Protoss is looking. What it's looking like behind all of this. So he's taking the safe option. Obviously the Viking can also fly across the map and harass workers, but this is honestly very well handled here by the French Terran. Nice targeting. Yeah. I think this is in the bag right now. There's just so much time lost here, right? So Protoss only just now goes for the warp gate research. These stalkers in the main base are not going to achieve much. Viking lands on the ground as well. Not to kill probes, to kill other mechanical units instead. GG is cold. That means we're going to game number 3. And I feel like I've got a good understanding of what boanaan wants to do against Clem in game 3 as well. I'm fully expecting a pylon right next to the Nexus. Right here. And then a forge right here. It is allowed to put it on the other side too. I will give permission for that. I mean, there's no way we're now gonna play a normal macro game, right? I will say, I am very impressed that boanaan is, like, comfortable. What seems to be cheesing Clem 3 times in a row. The pylon positioning alone is already weird. You wouldn't put it here if you wanted to play a normal game. Has to be a forge again, right? It's a forge. It is a forge. I don't know if you can tell, but I've been casting this entire series with a big smile on my face. There's no way. Clem actually going super quick second depot. So he's going much faster second depot than he actually needs it. Just to keep those probes out of the base. Okay. So what do we do now? I mean, that does mean that there's a second target, I guess, as well, right? Like a second target for those photon cannons to kill. Gateway much earlier this time around than in the previous game. I think this is a committed gateway. It's not really like a walling gateway. Yeah, he's knocking on the front door here. Knock, knock, knocking on Clem's door. Every nerd out there is like, no! I don't want to talk to humans! Get out! Go away from my door! Get off my lawn! Clem immediately took out his gun. Jeez. I didn't think those were legal in France. Anyways. Second photon cannon coming up. Probe, by the way, providing high ground vision. Yeah, he knows that there's gonna be a second marine, so he can't really commit. Keep in mind that there's no cyber core. And without a cyber core, you cannot get, well, a stalker, an adept, sentry, none of that. Okay. Very well managed so far here by Clem. Here comes the Zealot. Zealot is strong, obviously. Bit slow of a reaction. In the meantime, though, the factory is already pretty much finished. So, as far as games go, I think this is, yeah, the cleanest one here for the Terran players so far. Other than one of those Marines going down unnecessarily. I think he probably could have saved Jimmy. But you know what? Jimmy had it coming. Let's be real. Okay. Stargate. Well then. Boanaan has a bag of tricks. Word has it he used to work in the circus before he became a StarCraft player. What is this then? So what are we gonna go for? There was a cheese once upon a time where you would go Void Race with a lot of shield batteries and then into Tempest. And the idea behind it is that once you get up to a certain number of Tempests, you can effectively one-shot everything Terran has. You just kind of point your Tempest at what you want to die and then it dies. Problem is that obviously Tempests take about 7 years to produce. You need a... Okay, yeah, you need a fleet beacon and everything else. It's gonna take a while. It's gonna be a Void Ray here. To nerf that style, by the way, Blizzard had to reach pretty deep and they nerfed all of this like 4 times. They nerfed the shield battery, they double nerfed the... or even triple nerfed, if I'm not mistaken, the Void Ray at some point. Everything just became a lot more difficult to execute, but apparently boanaan still feels like he could do it against Clem. I mean, I am not 100% convinced about this anymore, but you know what? I thought this was a gateway. It's actually a fleet beacon. I didn't even pay attention to that yet. He is actually just gonna go for it. Nice snipe. Very good snipe right there on that Cyclone. Fleet beacon currently invisible. So... a Tempest, it will be. And you know what? I mean... this is Clem we're talking about. Like, sometimes it feels like StarCraft 2 at the highest level strategically is a little stale. But imagine this is anybody, other than like, you know, a top 3 Terran. I like this position-ish for Clem, but I'm not in love with it. He's going for a Widow Mine over here. Oh, almost gets the beam done right there on the Cyclone. Tempest is just about to pop. This is still not spotted by Clem, who will very soon be met by the big balls of energy here. There we go. Now, 1 Tempest is decent. It's not amazing. Clem immediately doubles down. Oracle on the back of this as well, by the way, for Revelation, I would imagine. I think it's to try and get rid of those Widow Mines. The Widow Mines are actually kind of annoying. He sees the little pothole. He realizes that he can't really fly around as freely anymore. Every minute that goes by right now is better for Clem. Problem obviously for Clem is that this is still a tough call to make. He's going double starport, kind of like it's a TVT. Double starport into Viking production. Oh, catching this would be massive. Catching that is, yeah, it's awesome. Very well done right here by our Terran. The laser was made thick there eventually, but not able to take down one of those Vikings. Nexus, by the way, in the meantime. So, boanaan really just trying to buy time here. Yeah, this is the strangest contain on a Terran side of the map I've seen in a very long time. He's expecting those Vikings to go across the map. Or even a Widow Mine drop, also a possibility. Yeah, I think he's basically just using this as a contain. Now these additional Tempests are quite vulnerable though. There's the Vikings indeed going across. Now these Tempests over here are vulnerable because the problem obviously for Protoss now is that he can't recall again to save these very, very expensive units. Okay, here come the Vikings. Vikings deal bonus damage against mechanical, like I tried pointing out earlier. So they actually are very good when it comes to sniping, well, probes. Perfect amount of units to recall, by the way. In the meantime, okay, on the other side of the map, the Oracle is accumulating energy. Second Tempest is already out. Third Tempest will be available in just a moment. I mean, in the meantime, right, boanaan is actually expended. He's got some eco here coming in out of a natural expansion. Those siege tanks have to be very, very careful. The Viking count, though, is so good right now for Clem. Yeah, I don't think you can win an air battle. Unless the Tempest can pick off a couple of the Vikings for free, but that would require Clem to make multiple mistakes. Clem is also kind of in a weird position, though, where he's sort of stuck. Keep in mind that he goes for an expo right now. He's building a second command center. Oh, trying to see if he can hunt these things down. He's gonna commit. Okay. Beautiful. Very well done right here by our Terran player, who's now just, well, landing everything on the ground, unsieging the tanks, trying to see if he can overwhelm this. Brilliantly done by Clem. So I was gonna say, keep in mind that at about the 10-minute mark, Terran is gonna be forced to make a move like this. We're currently 8 minutes into it because the base is running out. So he's got very little income still. I think that was essentially the perfect opportunity. Right before you start noticing a dip in your income, Clem decided to commit. This army is significant. Question is it good enough to go across the map? I think so. Yeah. We might see a stasis ward, though. Exactly. Clem doesn't know where the stasis wards are, but there is one very low HP. Ooh, okay, one very low HP Widowmine here will indeed trigger it, and that's perfect for Clem. His second command center is going to finish up. NG Bay is going to come up. We don't have Stimpack or anything like that yet, but it will probably be on the horizon. Yeah, and those Tempests are in a world of trouble. That's actually, oh, the last of them. And I think just like that, Clem obtains the victory in this best of 3 series, but my god. I have not really seen Clem sweat in a game like this in a very long time. Honestly, the only player that seems to be giving Clem trouble right now in this matchup would be MaxPax. Those two have been trading back and forth and back and forth. And for somebody who is, well, known in the StarCraft community, but certainly not quite up to MaxPax's level, for him to give that much trouble to Clem, you'll love to see it.